we're gonna play some Disco Elysium now, folks. Um, I have decided that I'm not going to apologize for being the slowest person ever, and I'm just gonna lean into it. So I hope that you're not disappointed by the fact that there's going to be more talking, because there's going to be more talking. But we're here now. We're here now. Um, So I'm really confused. So we're going to take a moment before we dive on into the game, but we're actually talking about the game instead of our usual, the little like pre-show preamble or in a stalling babbling that happens in the live version, which I cut for you too because because there's already so much off-topic stuff. I might as well cut that. No, so one of my big things that I'm trying to figure out, and again, no spoilers, no spoilers. If I'm wearing chat hat, then I'm asking a question. Otherwise, I'm speculating or talking about things myself. One of the things that really throws me is I'm trying to figure out. I had initially thought this was going to take place in our world. Then I thought it was a secondary world, and now I'm beginning to wonder if it's like an alternate timeline or like a near world parallel dimension, because there were some things mentioned in the previous stream that were specific to our cultures, our countries that exist in our world. If this is entirely a secondary world, then all of the country names should be unfamiliar. So I'm really curious because that is an interesting decision. And there's a lot of ways you can approach that. There's a long-standing tradition of writing things that are sort of kind of feel-ish like our real world, but like you've got some like made-up small European country in the middle of nowhere that does not actually exist, but it sounds like it could exist, and you just kind of throw it in a place where like most Americans, at least, they don't know if it's real or not. So Lloyd Alexander, one of my favorite children's writers, who is responsible for my set of ethics and values. So shout out to Lloyd Alexander and the person who I've grown to become because of him. But his character Vesper Hawley I think she comes from one of these countries that is some unspecified, like it's vague, or The Princess Bride. The frame story of The Princess Bride is that it was written by this guy in a previous century from another country that doesn't exist in our real world, but it's like kind of close enough it feels real-ish. No, see, Prydain and Westmark are actually secondary worlds based on our world. So they're these fantastical versions of our world that have direct roots in the historical or like mythological a tradition of specific parts of the world. But they are secondary worlds themselves. But in the case of Vesper Hawley, that's actually set in our real world, but she has her own country place that it takes place. No, there's nothing to be ashamed of there, Gundy, but it's set up to do that. I'm sure you're not the only one. But so all that to say that there's a lot of different stories that do that. And so if it turns out that Disco Elysium is doing that, where we have this Revachol? I think Revachol. Is that the city or the country? I don't know if we know yet. I just know that Revachol is the name of a place. Fortunately, my memory issues and Revolver Ocelot's memory issues, they complement each other. Well, terribly? I don't know. But it could be that like Revachol is this like invented place, and it is definitely an alternate timeline with things working differently than we know. But it could be that we'll see familiar, like the big international powers may be familiar. Who knows? We don't know what year it is in the. Wait, no. It actually isn't it like they don't tell us whether it's like 20 or 19 or what, but it's apostrophe 52, I think, in this game. Oh, is it 51? Okay, I was close. I remembered it was in the 50s. That's actually pretty good. Oh, in our world, it's 2023. I got that down. I have to write down dates often enough that I learn that eventually. I even know how old I am, but I won't tell you because that's a secret. Let's see. I don't know if there was anything else. Was there anything else I was going to say or do? As always, the reminder, no spoilers, no backseating. That means, like, if I'm speculating on things, don't confirm or deny. Even if I'm like, oh, I wonder if they do this thing, and you're like, well, it would have been really cool if they'd gone into that. You would be then confirming something for me, even if it's confirming that I'm wrong. And I like to just be, like, swimming out in the sea of ignorance, wondering if the fog of war will ever lift, and constructing mental. I'm really falling down in this metaphor, but like building entire like artificial, like, not just like houses of cards, but like entire palaces and nations of cards that may be standing on the shakiest ground imaginable. So allow me to do that. As far as reminders of things I already saw, the difficulty with that is that sometimes you are pointing a thing out, being like, hey, this is important. This is going to be relevant. So generally speaking, unless I'm like, oh, what is this thing? And you're like, that is related to a thing that you've seen before. You should remember this. They already told you this, something like that. Like, ask me if I want to know. But generally speaking, I would ask that you err on the side of don't tell me things. If you do really think that I need to be told something, talk amongst yourselves in the Stream Spoilers channel if you are there, and then send, like, for example, Cuno or one of the mods or somebody like that to like come out and be like, Lauren, we would like to tell you a thing, and give me the option to say yes or no. So yeah. Other than that, okay, that also extends to backseating. Please don't explain the systems to me. They are intentionally obtuse. This game wants you to feel okay. Hey, before we finish our little like setup of do or don't do, I want to talk a little bit about something. So they want you to not know, like, in Final Fantasy X, you are a character entering a world you don't know, with worlds or with rules you don't know, countries you don't know, people you don't know, traditions you don't know, and so giving you a fish out of water character in a strictly you don't understand the context of the place you stepped into. Like, it's a very smart decision that they've done that. Spoilers for the very, very beginning of Final Fantasy X. Tidus goes to a place and he doesn't know what's going on there. But the point of Final Fantasy X is not to be disorienting, it's to tell you a story. So they give you some things to hold on to you. They give you a character who you know, actually. You know Tidus from the intro section. So you have something to hold on to. You have something known, and the game world itself, like, you have people explaining things to you as you go, holding your hands. They're able to do interesting story things because there's information that everyone else in the world knows and you don't. But the point of it is not to be disorienting. On the other hand, in the case of Disco Elysium, at least at the beginning of it, their decision to withhold information from the character so that they can share it with you over time is not just a device to make it easier for them to tell you things you don't already know. They're actively trying to cause a state of disorientation in every way. Even looking at this picture, which is the first thing you see, and hearing this music, the first thing that you hear, there's no strong driving melody. There's a feeling of oppressive dread that kind of builds but never quite takes shape. There is this picture that you look at it and wonder kind of how much of this is abstract and how much of this is concrete. I don't know whether the weird, creepy, blue, like, I don't know what else to call it, like smokiness effects, how much of that is just an effect, or are things actually on fire? I don't know. We have no way of knowing. And that is really jarring when you look at the title screen of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is an incredible example of excellent storytelling, fantastic writing, and another case of a character who knows less than the people in the world around her, which gives you a fantastic way to step into and learn the world. Again, it's a very, very solid choice for a lot of storytelling purposes. But even listening to the music on that title screen and looking at that title screen, you can make some assumptions. You feel like you're standing on solid ground. You have this concrete visual, like, reference of the ground, of the world around you, and this song that is relatable and it can be held on to. This game doesn't give you any of that. And so in addition to that, the gameplay is intentionally obtuse. The structure, the system, how it works, what it means, why you would choose something, how it works, it doesn't really answer those questions. And that's an intentional decision meant to evoke an emotional state in you, the player, that mirrors the emotional state of the character. So not only has he lost his memory, but he doesn't understand the rules of the world. He doesn't understand how things work. You have no idea what choosing dialogue options is going to do. Like, you have to really kind of quickly figure this sort of thing out. It's like learning that you can die to the ceiling fan in the opening section of the game. Teaches you some things, but I'm still not entirely sure what I learned there. I know, obviously, like, concretely, I learned that you can die in this game. But I don't know exactly, like, what that says fully about the mechanics. I don't know fully what that says. But I know I have data, but I can't necessarily do something with it yet. And so because that is such a big part of the game, the way that it's designed, the way that it's set up to be played, the way that it's set up to be experienced more than just played, I beseech you, please do not explain the systems to me. This is not just my stubborn Lauren likes to figure it out as I go. This is me not understanding things. I mean, part of that is the slightly broken brain that I bring to this game that they can't anticipate that I would be bringing to this game. But a large part of it is actually the experience that they are wanting to deliver. And I want to experience that. And so please let me experience that in its fullness. Even if I get frustrated, even if things seem so obtuse and I can't figure it out and I'm just stuck trying to figure out what to do or how things work or how much of a risk I'm taking. I'm supposed to feel that way, and that's what I'm signing up for. So I'm totally okay as that. I'm totally okay being confused. I'm totally okay being wrong. I'm totally okay making mistakes or being mistaken. And I ask you to give me the grace to do those things, even when you know better, even if it might affect my playthrough and you think that I won't have as good a time. There is content in this game that is concerning, but that is a content warning situation, and that is something that the mods and I have been in communication about. So outside of that, if I make a mistake and have slightly less fun, that's still a true and authentic experience. And I really don't think Revolver Ocelot is having much fun, so we're just being in character. So if the mods do delete something that you say, even if you feel like it wasn't that much of a spoiler or backseating, they're just being cautious. It doesn't mean that you're bad, doesn't mean that you're in trouble. If you are in trouble, we will let you know. But otherwise, it's just like, we're just going to clear the board just for safety's sake. Yeah, so the thing is, I changed the size of the picture so there wasn't that amount of space down there, but I do want to put that warning. Like, that's part of like the whole like new branding thing, is I'm going to maybe do some changes to the way this looks and feels. I'm going to add that picture to like a opening and closing screen and banners and things, but I'm also going to try to like put text and things like that. So yeah, we don't have a message like that yet. I meant to, but it has not been a good week for me doing other things. I'm so sorry. I will make a bot message when my brain isn't leaking out my ears, but this has been a week where my brain has been leaking out my ears. I sent my girlfriend a message at like 12:30 last night, like after midnight, being like, hi, I know I owe you a message and I haven't talked to you in 2 days, but my brain is leaking out my ears. So, and my cat has been complaining at me. So it's just one of those times, but we will get that. But yeah, so long story short, please let me experience the thematic confusion of this game, even if it's miserable. Okay. Shall we dive on in, having talked about... Wait, hold on. Hold on. Huh. Okay, so this right here has a date that I can recognize, 2022, 11/14. But that could just be telling us that's like the latest update of the game. So that itself is not inherently interesting. However, what is interesting is right here. There is this flipped text with a little buttony thing in the middle, and it says Feld device, F-E-L-D device. Now that could be completely inconsequential, but I don't think that the people who make this game do things accidentally. So I wonder what a Feld device is, and I wonder why it is related to how we are seeing the world, how we are accessing the world, because that's what this screen is. Feld playback. Film. Don't tell me, by the way. Don't tell me, even if it's a thing that should be really obvious, even if it's just like some like generic brand of film in the real world and I should recognize it. Let it go. Let it go. As far as I know, it's something in the world. No, but this says Feld playback film, Feld device. And this right here does look like it's yeah. So this is saying something potentially about the way in which we're accessing the story. Maybe it's a time travel device. I don't know. Maybe we're seeing through into another dimension, parallel world, much like in the His Dark Materials trilogy. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Which is going to get us some dust. That is an interesting series. All right. I'm going to actually hit the continue button, but I had to, or the load game button, but I had to look at that. I wonder what it means. We'll find out. All right. So we saved last time. Okay. So we have two characters here in our party, because it turns out that you get a party in this game. And I think my party should party. So we still don't know who Revolver Ocelot is. We have reason to be skeptical about whether or not he's actually a cop. We know that he has patches on his jacket that reveal him to be a cop. We know that the police force, such as it is actually a militia. And so that's presumably the reason why we have these two men who are both cops with wildly different fashion senses, but the bomber jacket and the disco jacket are both cop jackets because they've been marked as such. Because rather than issuing uniforms, presumably you bring something distinctive to you or something that you own, and it is transformed into a uniform. So we don't have our proof of cophood, and so we have connected with Kim, Flashlight Glasses Man, who is a very sweet seeming, kind and gentle seeming soul. I am currently withholding full attachment to him because this game has not yet proven to me that it is not going to pull a actually you should be cynical about him. It is possible that it will. It is possible that it won't. I think that what I want the answer to be is what I want for him to be as kind and gentle as he seems. He's allowed to be a flawed person. He's allowed to perhaps be blinded to the flaws in the police force. He's perhaps he's allowed to be flawed and maybe idealistic. Maybe having too much faith in humanity and maybe not observing the potential corruption around him. But I would like for him to still be a fundamentally good person. And I'm hoping that will be the case. Partly because I personally need that in this game, as has been discussed. And partly just because it would be nice. I would like for him to just be nice. And it would be nice in a game that clearly is going to be cynical in its exposure of the darker side of human nature. It would be really nice for the game not to be so cynical that it itself doesn't believe in the possibility of a good person. And having somebody who seems good and then is revealed to be not good, not flawed, but not good, is so cynical. It's like almost hurtful. It's a gotcha moment. And to me, that seems mean-spirited. And I really hope that that's not the direction that they take, because I think it would feel mean-spirited. I think if you have a game if you have a story in which almost everyone is mean, almost everyone is bad, there's a lot of selfishness and pain and suffering, and you have people with like torturous pasts, and a world that is falling apart, and you give what seems like softness and kindness, and then you take it away, you are making a statement. You are making a conscious decision. And I don't want that to be the thing that they're making in this game. I want this game to have tenderness and gentleness and softness and goodness and love underneath it, partly because that's what I feel most comfortable with, and partly because for me at least that's actually a more accurate look into the world. Even in the worst situations, you'll still find moments of goodness and humanity. That's where grimdark people get it wrong. If you want to look at like sociopathic, every person for themselves, backstabbing, destructive behavior, you're not going to find it in desperate poverty. You're not going to find it in hopelessness and oppression and the people at the bottom. You're going to find it with rich tech bros and people at the top, people who need to be somewhat sociopathic to get where they are and to disregard the harm that they're doing. And I feel like grimdark stories miss that so frequently. They don't recognize that actually when people are in desperate situations, that's often when you see the greatest kindness and generosity. That was a fun tangent. We haven't even moved. We haven't done anything. This is great. Yeah, so looking at their portraits, yes, they are very different. You have this bright, chaotic, clashing color, textured awfulness with Revolver Ocelot. And then Kim with this like saintly halo, like he's from a medieval religious iconography work of art that could be significant. This could be Saint Kim, basically. You know, he could be the one good man in a bad world. I don't know. It's interesting. If a story has enough happiness or good people in it, even if it's really dark, yeah, I would say it's no longer grimdark. It can be very dark, but it's no longer grimdark. For me, grimdark revels in the darkness and is like, the world is a rough and difficult and loveless place. Because I've heard people arguing about whether The Witcher is grimdark. Now, I've only watched part of The Witcher 3 in like one episode of the show. But as I understand it, I mean, Geralt is just not a grimdark hero. I'm sorry, he is just not a grimdark hero. Even if his world is set up like a grimdark world, he's too much of a toasty marshmallow under there. He's a sad person who got hurt, and he doesn't want to let other people get hurt, to some degree, which is great. So that right there, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how grimdark everything else is. The Witcher can't be grimdark because it has Geralt as the main character, which is nice. That's actually the one reason why I've considered trying The Witcher. Sorry, that was me messing with my cables by accident. Yeah. So that's my stance on it. So I don't know that this is going to be grimdark, and I don't think this is going to be grimdark. I mean, for one thing, it has too much comedy. But I do think it is going to be dark, but I hope it's not going to be cynical. And people have described this game as beautiful, and I think that if this were cynical, it wouldn't be. I think in order to truly be a beautiful game, I think it's going to need to have Kim be more or less what we see him as now. Again, that does not mean that he is going to be a perfect man, but I think it means he will be a good man, which is better anyway. You know, I was actually thinking about the setting of this, since I was talking about like made up countries that don't exist but kind of feel like they are in a slightly alternate timeline that doesn't quite line up, but feels like it almost could. But then there's this surrealism and impressiveness. There is a movie about, is it about a bellboy and a hotel? You have to know what movie I'm talking about. Somebody has to know what it is because I don't remember what it's called. What is it? Grand Budapest. Yes, Grand Budapest Hotel. That's the one. That's the one. That is what the setting in here kind of makes me think of. It's interesting. That is a strange movie. That is a strange movie. Sometimes almost a little bit too much. Yeah. But again, also, like, it had, like, made up countries and places and things like that, too. So, set in the real world, kind of coexisting with things in the real world, which is an interesting decision to make. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the eccentricity, and you trying as the audience coming in, trying to figure out what the rules are and where this is similar to your real world and how it differs. It's very there's some similarities. I don't think this is like in any way an homage or a reference or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if the people who made this game are familiar with that movie and like it, or even if they're not familiar with it, if they were to watch it and be like, oh, I like that, because there's like a flavor. Yeah. So last time we met Kim. I like Kim. I haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. I really, really, really want to. So, but I really do want to. I've been told that it would be right up my alley. I just haven't done it yet. I know. My roommate even has it. We were almost going to watch it, and then we didn't because I needed to not think or feel the day that we were going to do that. But it'll happen. It'll happen. You are serious, Ink. That's right. You've missed like half an hour of random chatter, and we haven't moved a step. It's great. I always watch with subtitles on because I have ADHD. Let's see. You know what? This game can't be entirely cynical. It can't be grimdark because we now have two kind characters who are kind and gentle. Because this older lady with her questionable southern accent is also just straight up kind, and she's not the sort of character that I have any reason to expect that they would possibly do a gotcha with her. And so I think that Lena's existence in the game makes me feel more comfortable. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna make a decision. I'm going to make a decision based on Lena's existence in this game. I'm gonna take the risky chance here, and I'm gonna go ahead and lower my guard around Kim. Oh my god, Kim is strong. Kim is strong. That man is bigger than him. I wondered what had happened when suddenly my UI disappeared. Oh my god, that's really cute. That's really, really cute. Oh man. Well, if it's any consolation, Marie, or any explanation, we've been live for about half an hour now, and I have not taken a step. So we just witnessed I have done literally nothing for half an hour, so my characters are interacting. Nobody else has talked long enough to trigger it before. Look, I am claiming to be the slowest player. I'm not. The thing is, I'm not actually going to try. I promise I'm not going to try to like artificially go slower just because I can. I'm just going to not go any faster. Sorry, I was too busy looking at these guys to see what you guys were saying. That is a great idle animation. See, they want players like me, clearly. They're like, if you cannot shut up and you're still talking after like 10 or 20 minutes or whatever, we'll give you a treat. And yeah, no, it was the moment that I said I was gonna let my guard down around Kim is when that happened, which is actually it was a very good timing, and there's no way that I could possibly have anticipated that. yeah, so like as I was saying, as I was so gently and sweetly interrupted, I have been kind of holding some reservation about Kim because I wasn't sure if they were going to maybe pull a gotcha. Um, but as I was saying, because Lena, who is introduced very early on, um, is so gentle and sweet and kind and helpful without reservation. And there is no reason why anyone would do a gotcha with a character like that. Like, it would feel very, very strange and jarring. If she's allowed to exist in this game as she is, then that means that Kim can be more or less who and what he seems to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and just straight up say, okay, fine. I think that Kim is gonna be a good guy. He's actually gonna be a good guy. Not perfect again, but good. And that will be what I'll hold on to for now. And I'm gonna try to play Revolver Ocelot like he's good, to the best of my ability. Yeah, but like, so when we start talking about what a cop is, the idea of there being a force of people from within the community who try to solve and prevent crime in a helpful within the community way, the possibility of crime prevention is not necessarily inherently incapable of not being harmful and destructive. So we don't know. I don't know. I don't know what being a cop means in this universe, but the fact that they are militia makes me think that there will be some differences. Maybe still flawed and dangerous, because my authority voice sure is not a voice I want to listen to, and it sure does sound like what I associate with cops in the real world. But we don't know for sure. That could also be Revolver Ocelot's personal problems, because he sure has a lot of those. And yes, trust is meaningful when you can be hurt by it. And so part of why I have been hesitant, of course, like, I'm like barely in the game. I've like barely played the game. Like, how has this been 2 full streams and we're here? I have a gift, man. But just because like I'm currently kind of a sensitive but slightly less fragile than I had been, Lauren. And I don't want to be hurt. But I think that the game developers, I'm going to choose to trust them. I will allow them to hurt me to some degree because I will trust them to make it worth my while and to give me something to hold on to. And I don't think you can judge cops in this universe by Ocelot, because Ocelot has so many Ocelot specific problems, you know? Like, I just don't think that he's indicative of how anyone anywhere does anything else. For anyone who hasn't watched my previous streams, when I saw the cover art, I decided that the 2 main characters were Revolver Ocelot and Glasses Flashlight Man, and that has given us a name to call the main character, who I didn't realize was going to be the main character, because I'd only ever seen the internet get really excited about Glasses Flashlight Man, who now we know is Kim because we've just met him. So turns out we're playing an amnesiac Revolver Ocelot. So please don't tell me what his name is or whether he has one, but right now he's Revolver Ocelot. Yeah, so we'll see. We will see. So we've talked to this fellow. Oh, man. Oh no. Oh, no. I didn't go up to my room yet with Kim, have I? I haven't shown him. I mean, I found my shoe, but I don't think we've been upstairs with Kim. I did say I wanted him to know what he was getting into. I'm gonna absolutely destroy this man's opinion of me. And he's just so sad about it. He's not even mad. He's just sad. I'm sorry, Kim. Maybe you can shine some light on this. Or maybe a Revolver Ocelot won't bring him out. Or won't bring him in there. Well, we don't even know 100% for sure that Ocelot is even actually a cop. I'm sorry, man. Oh, what's this on my floor? Kim tries not to look at your broken down bathroom door. I mean, it's not easy to break a door down. It can be done, and Ocelot's not a small man, I don't think. It's interesting. I wonder whether the idle animation changes with them doing the like kind of like trust lift thing. Kim holds Ocelot for a while, but Ocelot doesn't hold Kim for very long. I have a thought. My thought is purple, which is psyche? Is that one psyche or is that one intelligence? It's one of the ones that I'm not terrible at, I think. I could be wrong. Hopefully it's not my body, because then I am terrible at. No, that's orange. So that is psyche. Okay. And this is your other one is that color. Okay. Int is blue. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what brilliant idea is running through my head.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of take viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore.
Okay, to be fair, he's only been here for 3 days. The potted plant that's dying is not his fault. It takes longer than 3 days for a plant to die. That's just atmosphere. Oh, yeah, so Revolver Ocelot is the name of a character in the Metal Gear Solid series who has... I mean, really the only similarity between Revolver Ocelot and this character is they've got sideburns. I think facial hair. So it's quite a stretch of a comparison. But I said that he made me think of a character from Metal Gear Solid. And so I'm calling him by the name of that character from Metal Gear Solid, who is nothing like him at all. So it's a hilarious contrast. I guess if you tried to water it with vodka, does that kill a plant? If you put alcohol on a plant, does that kill the plant? I mean, it kills lots of things. Like, alcohol is poison. So, oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, things that are poisonous to animals aren't necessarily poisonous to plants. And vice versa. It fortifies it. Fedhass is here trying to encourage me to murder plant life. Well, lucky for you, I'm already pretty bad at keeping plant life alive, so. So let's see. Oh my god. Okay. So my options here. So I read text out loud if it's not read by the voice acting. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, if I ever need to kill some you know what? If I'm ever faced with plant monsters, I will throw a bottle of vanilla on them, because that and cooking wine is usually all I've got. I know my roommate's got, I think, some tequila. That's probably more effective. Okay, well, it's good to know. Would that be effective against zombies? Especially if they're like fungal zombies? Does it work on fungi? I'm sorry. This is not... It's not a very effective herbicide, but it's not good for plants. All right, so you can't intentionally kill them, but you also won't intentionally keep them alive. Got it. All right, so my options are: 1, you're looking at the destruction. 2, I'm sorry for this. 3, Sinatra style, I did it my way. Sorry. 4, this is where the magic happens, or say nothing and nod stoically. I mean, we all probably know that the option I'm going to pick is pretty clear, I think, here. Oh no, we've been learning all sorts of sciences playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on Tuesdays. We can learn sciences while playing this game too. It's great. Okay, I'm gonna pick option number 2. I'm sorry for this. To me, that feels like that's that's the choice. So we're gonna go with it.
No problem, officer.
He takes a step toward the door, like he'd like to leave. I'm sorry, Kim. I got experience for that. What popped up when I got experience? Did it just say you got experience? I wasn't able to look at this before, was I? I don't think that was a clickable option.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Yeah, that does look pretty awful.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 9 p.m.
Thank you so much, tutorial agent, for putting that into the 12-hour clock so that I can understand it. All right. Oh, that's right. Tab highlights all interactables. I don't have any points in that, so I can't do that. I could look at the ceiling fan. I'm not gonna, because I'm pretty sure that'll kill me. All right, let's see.
The fan stands still.
Okay, no. We're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna murder myself. I've already done that once. Poor Kim. I'm so sorry, Kim. I'm pretty sure looking at the mirror. I guess, okay, so I'll be coming back here, potentially. If I find money, I'll be coming back here because the bed will be sleepable. I'm sorry, Kim. I did die to the fan. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a new thing in here. Oh my god. I'm going to read everything in here. I'm sorry. Do you mind? Wait, officer profile incomplete. Locate halogen watermarks. RCM. Oh, interesting. So my officer profile is going to show up there if I get it, provided I have it. Okay. Sing karaoke. You need to find a sufficiently tragic tape, then play it on a boombox to memorize the lyrics. Then ask the cafeteria manager if you can perform. Not to perform. Because if you ask the cafeteria manager to perform, that makes it sound like you're asking the cafeteria manager for the cafeteria manager to perform, instead of you're asking the cafeteria manager to let you perform. That is unclear as written. Preferably in the evening. More people at the bar then. All right. Look. That's what I would do. Who made... Okay, hold on. Inspect the victim's body. Inspect the body hanging in the backyard of the Whirling-in-Rags. This is a preliminary inspection. You just need to suppress the urge to throw up and approach it. Because, yeah, I know we still haven't stepped outside. We're very early. I'm really slow. Report your badge missing. You need to report your missing badge to the 41st precinct as soon as possible. The lieutenant said that you can use the radio in his motor car to call your station. Okay. Pay for damages. You need to pay for the damages you caused in the Whirling-in-Rags, or you won't have a place to stay tonight. Ask around for money and be careful with your spending. If you're unsure how much you owe, ask Garta. You can ask your station for additional funds. I'm sorry. Who made the call reporting the crime? Yes, that's a mystery. Because Garta was not entirely forthcoming. Just like he was not forthcoming about what happened to the person he's filling in for. Suspiciously so. Because it is my job to question things. Dead bodies do smell bad, yes. Okay, who made the call reporting the crime? Someone reported the hanging to the RCM. Maybe if you find out who it was, it may shed new light on the events. You have an idea where to start, but the caller could have been anyone. Call Sylvie using Kim's shortwave to ask whether she made the call. Interestingly, we're going to be using his radio, not a cell phone. We do not have cell phones in this world. Like we may not have just straight up may not have phones. We may use shortwave radio to call people. That may be the form of communication that is standard in this world, which would be really interesting because that's technology that exists in our real world, but not the usage that exists in our real world. It's interesting stuff. Get a reality lowdown. You have no idea where you are. Lena encouraged you to ask others to explain the world to you in greater detail. Perhaps try a rich person. Rich people are educated. Okay. Is anything done? Do I have any done tasks? I interviewed the cafeteria manager. And I found my other shoe. I wonder what happens if you don't find your shoe. I guess you're sleeping dock worker. Oh, I tried waking that guy up and I failed. Mirror, electrochemistry, impossible. That's to change your expression. Broken window, visual calculus, easy. Yes. These are found white checks. Those on white are available to try now. Oh, so that tells you where you are. Allows you. You can do that. Well, no? Oh, wait. Okay, I could go try that again. Okay, never mind. All right. Map information incomplete. Acquire a copy of the city map. Well, we're going to do that eventually. Oh, archival spool. I'm sorry. That says archival spool. And Feld, there's Feld's device again. Wave 300 to 2100L. JRN. What is a Feld device? We're looking through archival film footage. Like if you look at this, it's like you know, like actually like a roll of film. Like camera film actually has that kind of color and texture. Yeah, or like microfilm. Yeah. Yeah, microfiche. Actually, hold on. Okay, we're still thinking through this. Oh, look, I'm like a quarter of the way through thinking about this singer dude. Not very far through trying to figure out where home is. Okay, so that changes up the colors, but there was the thing that I was on actually looked like everything that we were seeing when we were viewing through film. So it feels almost like we are watching archival footage of something that happened in the past. As like there's some sort of like outer framework story. It's interesting. Microfiche, actually, not microfiche. Just microfiche is what we used to call it when I was in high school because we thought we were funny. Oh, hey, I can talk to him. Oh, dear. I'm sorry, buddy. What are you going to say?
Yes?
Okay. Oh, he sounds sad. Okay. So I can either say, tell me about the case. I think you should know that I can't remember anything. I want to talk about you. You seem to be following me or nothing. So I'm gonna go through one through three here, if he'll let me. All right, let's do this. Tell me about the case.
What do you want to know?
Literally anything about it. I can't remember a single thing. Would you say this is a mysterious case? Or if we're from different precincts, why are we on the same case? That is a thing that I was trying to figure out before. Because I wonder if this is, since like it sounds like where we are location-wise is not close to where my character is from. I'm wondering whether precincts are perhaps not defined regionally. So we'll find out. We'll find out. Yes, I'm streaming Disco Elysium. I started 2 weeks ago and we have made literally no progress. It's amazing. I'm having a great time. Okay. Wait, my phone is ringing. Stop. It has stopped. Sorry about that. I want to ask this, but I also don't remember anything. So let me ask about the precincts. I'm sorry, Kim, but we know. We gotta know. We gotta know.
I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition.
He considers the phrasing. He's trying to figure out the right way to phrase this. So does that mean that our two precincts are fighting over this case? Interesting. I mean, there's obviously going to be internal fighting. Like, anytime you have an organization, people are going to be vying for power. Anytime there is power to be had, there will be people vying for it.
His disdain is clear. This man would not use such an expression otherwise.
I am the same way. I don't like using expressions like that. I don't like using crass expressions. So if I ever use one, either there's an opportunity for wordplay so tempting I cannot resist, or I am so upset that there is no other way to explain it or describe something or someone. So I share that with him. So I guess apparently I'm listening to empathy because I'm like, yeah, that's fair. And it seems like I'm kind of trying to get a read for empathy. I feel like empathy in this game is going to function like empathy in real life, rather than it being a thing that you are like, I have put points in this and therefore my rolls will be good and I will get, if I get a good roll, then I will get factual information. Empathy gives you insight into things, but sometimes it will be questionable. Sometimes it will be affected by your bias. Sometimes you might be mistaken or lacking information and coming to an inaccurate conclusion. Your own mental health can affect your interpretation of other people. So that's my that's currently my running theory on how things are going to work, which is way more fun than just straight up gamifying something as subjective and human as empathy. Like, I actually find it deeply frustrating I mentioned this before, I will mention it again, you will hear it and be like, oh no, not again. I have a hard time with tabletop games that have personal like interpersonal communication skills, that if you as a player come up with a bad idea but your character has points in it, it succeeds. If you're trying to be persuasive and you have a really bad like lack of actually trying to persuade them, and yet you rolled well and so you succeed, like that to me is it's very jarring and uncomfortable. I don't like that. I do think that you can probably, like, even if there are some flaws, but you roll well, like maybe the GM can be like, actually maybe it would make more sense if you don't forget that he has this thing, like kind of like helping you a little bit. That can work. But I do find it very frustrating. Yes, roll charisma to streamline complete human interactions into a binary success or failure. For me, that makes a game unplayable. I tend to like to play charisma class characters. I like to talk, shockingly, my characters tend to like to talk to people, and I acquire NPCs because I like to meddle in their lives. So I have a long history of there being NPCs that were supposed to be like one-shot characters or who were going to die, but I got involved and then they were stuck in the game and became important characters, and we managed to subvert their fate because I meddled. There was one game that I played where I really disliked a character. Well, my character really disliked a character. So even though like there were like giant like neon lights of like metal with this character, I was like, I'm sorry, Celia hates him. She's not gonna meddle. And so he had a very fitting tragic end. But because like, role playing is fun. Yeah, like, so social roles can be useful. You can use them, but they kind of have to work. And so when this game is building in that kind of thing as like the fundamental nature of its system and its mechanics, I had some things to say about that when we were first rolling our character, and I've been kind of trying to get my footing as far as understanding like how that actually works in execution. It's really interesting. To kind of see that this is coming through in a way that is somewhat gamified. There is a degree of dice rolling involved, but there's also an element outside of that is more subjective, that is more the way you would have to interpret things in the real world. I think that's probably what the mental state gameplay is going to be like. And I'm going to operate under the assumption that I'm correct. And we'll see how horribly wrong I am. And Ghost Cassette, the thing is, like, that's totally valid. That's totally valid. Like, the reason why systems like the roll dice to determine if you succeed or fail in a social interaction, like, the reason why that exists as a system is because there are people who like that, and that works for them, and that's totally valid. All I'm saying is that for me as a player, that doesn't work. And so games that are run like that, or that have characters who play like that, are not going to be a good fit for me. But I am the first person to admit that it is hard for me to find tabletop games that I can play with. Tabletop games that are a good fit, either good GMs or that fit me, players who fit me, whether I'm running a game and they're players that fit in a game that I would run, or whether I am playing in a game and they are players who fit coexisting around me. It is hard. I have a difficult time of it. So I'm an extreme case. And that's okay. I personally think that it should be a kind of a cooperative experience where if your character would know something and you're kind of doing something or saying something or acting on something in a way that would contradict the world or be a problem in the world, and you have the points or you roll well, the GM's role is not there to punish you. The GM's role is to facilitate the telling of a story together. So they should be helping make that happen. So, yeah. But I divorced my common GM and most frequent player, so I have not played a tabletop game in 7 years. And I don't know if that will change anytime soon. So yeah. Life. It happens. All right. So, Disco Elysium. This is a game that I'm playing ostensibly.
You don't know? I assumed you were in on it.
His eyes narrow. You know what I'm in on. Retrograde amnesia. What does retrograde mean again? Backwards something. No old memories. Oh, retrograde amnesia is describing that it's amnesia going all the way back. Okay. Okay. No, see, that's fair known paradox. Like, I can understand that, and it puts a lot of pressure to try to play a character. But you kind of like have to like find, I think, a middle ground that works for you. Remember, nothing from this point backwards, but you can make new memories. Anterograde. What does antero mean as a root? I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, like oh, okay. I got it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to say, you know what I'm in on, retrograde amnesia.
Better still than an imbecilic cop-off.
He's like, to be fair, like, better to forget your memories than be doing something terrible. Cop off or... So the problem here is that I cannot tell. The specific phrase, tell me about it, completely taken by itself, is a straight up statement. Tell me about this, please. I am requesting information. However, tell me about it has an idiomatic use. And I don't know, because I know that my guy has a lot of sarcastic options. I don't know if tell me about it, which wouldn't make any sense in this context, but could still be the thing that they're doing. I don't know. So I'm going to ask about the cop off because I don't trust the other one. So I'm going to say cop off.
It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim.
Okay. Okay, then I will wait till after we've inspected the victim. That's fair.
Was there anything else you wanted to know about the case?
Okay. Would you say, let's say literally anything about it. I can't remember a single thing. Bye, Blue Glass. See you in a bit.
Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit.
I know literally nothing about it, only what you told me before.
Do you want me to brief you?
Brief, yes, that sounds good. Let's do this. Let's get information from Kim, which will color my understanding of the facts that I receive. So I'm going to attempt to save state my imagination here and be aware of which facts and interpretations and thoughts have I received from Kim. So I will try to be as aware as possible of where Kim's information might be coloring my interpretation. This may or may not be necessary, but we'll see how well we can do it anyway.
3 days ago, the RCM emergencies desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling-in-Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate.
So it's an anonymous caller, so we don't know who the caller was. So it was there for 4 days before somebody anonymously said, by the way, there's a body. That is strange. And a security guard.
During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute.
Okay. So lynching implies something about the social order and the place. There is a definition of lynching that is not specific to the racial dynamics in the United States. And I know that is what we're talking about here. It is hard for me to disconnect the word from that specific context. Like I said, I am aware that is not the definition of the world, or of the word. But I will do my best. If I become uncomfortable at the use of that word, that is why. It is a cultural thing. There's if you're not familiar with it, it's a very dark history and reality. So I know that might be a thing. That's why I have an initial really strong reaction to somebody being hanged in a tree, because that is frequently a form of lynching. And in the U.S., that has specifically been a form of murders along racial lines, both during slavery, during the Jim Crow period of segregation, and sometimes in the modern era. So that's the context. If you are not American, there's a lot. It's a very loaded term because of that cultural and historical baggage. But literally defined hanging someone to kill them outside of the law. And I don't know what the connotations are in Estonia, which is why I think that this is a word that they are able to use and an image. Oh, am I back? My OBS froze. And I think part of that is because I think I accidentally stepped on my power cord and it unplugged or something. I'm not quite sure, but I'm gonna see what happened there, because I saw it like go in and out of being on power, and that doesn't usually make OBS freeze, but it froze, and I actually had to hard kill it from the task manager. So, but we're back. What was the last thing you heard, friends? Because I don't know exactly when that happened. Okay, so we were talking about lynching. So one of the things that I said, and I don't know if I made it, was that one of the ways that I can tell, even if I didn't know that this game wasn't made by Americans, I would guess that it wasn't made by Americans, because I don't think that Americans would have a lynching in a tree. Because there is the context. I'm not sure if that is actually universally true or just my perception of it, but that's kind of how I feel. And to me that's really interesting how we kind of maybe don't take for granted, or we take for granted we aren't necessarily aware of our own, not just cultural biases, but like how our experiences and the environment that we grow up in and the culture that we're part of, like, so wildly shapes everything about our view of the world. Yeah. So it would be like you wouldn't do it in the US unless you were trying to reference that. And so that's really interesting to me, because I recoiled when I first heard that somebody was hanged in a tree. But maybe those of you who are European, or have different, like, you know, they're from different parts of the world, maybe you didn't have that same reaction. So that's interesting. But I don't know. I'm curious. So in this case, instead of it being a racial killing, it seems that they're saying that it's a labor dispute. So a security guard is most likely going to be affiliated with the logistics company rather than the dock workers, I think. But we'll have to see, because I don't actually know how this world works here, so we'll see. So yeah. So I'm going to say, wait, does the briefing say who the victim was? And then the second option is, why didn't we know anything about the color? And I assume I'll get to ask both, but we'll see.
A security guard or worker of some sort, hired by Wild Pines. This was just hearsay from Martinez, of course. We need to find out the truth.
Okay. Man, I sure did learn a lot about, speaking of dark points in your nation's history, we learned to some degree about lynching and the frequency of it and the context of it, but we didn't really study anything about labor disputes, despite the long and horrifying history there. So actually, it wasn't until I played Night in the Woods. It wasn't until I played a video game about a talking cat that I really learned about the history of the labor movement and the evils that had been done to innocent people, in the name of companies making money and corporations making money. Yeah, it's a great game. If you haven't played Night in the Woods, I strongly encourage you to. If you like this game, you should play it, because it too has darker elements, and deals with some of the harsher things in the world, while also having an underlying sense of love and goodness in it. So it's very good. All right. That makes sense, Eastern Lights. That makes sense. You can if you want to, Blade Tiger. I feel like that's something that I mean, I've told Scott Benson that he's responsible for radicalizing me. We got to have that conversation, which was nice. Yes, and there is a lot of interconnection between labor movements and civil rights movements. A lot of movements like that actually have been interconnected. But the more people work together, the more power they have and the less they can be hurt. And so it is in the best interest of people who do not want to be removed from power to keep people disconnected across different lines. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So why didn't we know anything about the caller?
They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex.
So that's an intentional, that's not just an anonymous caller. That's somebody actively hiding. I hope you're prepared for me to overanalyze things and jump to crazy conclusions and explore completely wild possible explanations for things. Because aside from the fact that I'm probably going to be upset about seeing the dead body in the tree if they actually show it, like, I really love a good puzzle. I'm sorry. That's how I managed to get through Obra Dinn. I sometimes had to take my headphones off so I didn't hear people dying horribly. But when it got down to it, the logic problems part was really, really, really fun. So, why hide themselves?
There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that.
You know, actually, it's really, you have to be really careful. I mean, generally speaking, the death penalty is not a good idea. Just across the board, it's really not good to kill people, and that generally doesn't actually solve problems. But it certainly doesn't solve problems when you ostensibly have systems in place to do literally anything else. Like that can be like a desperation move, but it shouldn't be anything beyond a desperation move. So when you have people designating themselves the executioner, you've got a problem on your hands. So let's see. So I can say hold on, and the RCM is, but I know that's the militia. It's the, what's the name of the place? I just said it. Earlier. It's on the tip of my tongue. Revachol, thank you. I was like, Roicheshol, that's not right. Revachol. So it's the Revachol something militia. They've told me that. I've heard that one before. And then, of course, yes, I understand everything now. Or just let me just make this perfectly clear. Our job here is to find the killer. Or I still don't understand anything. I'm going to go with 3, actually, because I do actually have some degree of understanding of things here. Or the Mounties. Yes, that is true. It could be the Mounties. Hey, speaking of being aware of the darker parts of a nation's history, we could talk about the Mounties' involvement in the disappearance of and mistreatment of Indigenous and First Nations people in Canada. Also not cool. Yay! Yay! Current events. Past events. Cultural problems. We're going to talk about heavy stuff on this stream because we're playing Disco Elysium. So, I'm going to say, let me just make this perfectly clear. Our job here is to find the killer. I don't know if our job here is to find the killer, if our job here is to figure out what happened. So let's find out. What exactly do we do? What is our territory?
That's right.
Secret task complete. Ask Kim to tell you about the case. I got experience. So I'm going to say, would you say this is a mysterious case?
No, it's not a particularly mysterious case.
He actually considers my question for a moment before answering. So he's listening to me, and then so I'm going to ask him, why not?
The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that.
Okay, so it's fun, a little bit of world building, like polymath. I mean, I figure that that's probably like the equivalent of rocket scientist. Something very intelligent. And we've seen polymath pop up before. Dolor, I mean, that's sadness right there. So I don't know what place they're referring to, if that is a country or what. But yeah, no, well, there's polymath and there's polyglot. Like polyglot is someone who speaks multiple languages. So to assume that polymath is somebody who can do multiple mathematics, something equivalent in that vein. But I'm wondering what it means in the context of this world. Skilled in many disciplines. Okay, so it's not specifically to math. So mathematics in that case, or are they not referring to mathematics? Is there something else that math means? Sorry, we're going to do a lot of breaking down of words here. I just like words. You can add multiple numbers, yes. Man, doing math in English and French. I can do really basic arithmetic in French very slowly and pronounced badly. Okay, the stem of math, meaning to learn. Okay, so mathematics must then have something to do with learning rather than specifically having to do with numbers, which I guess could explain, because calculus and dyscalculia is like when you have a learning disability against numbers specifically. It's not math. So mathematics doesn't have to do with numbers. What does it have to do with then? I'm sorry. We're doing this. Why not? Why not? Break down some language. But DeLorean, and they do not, they don't mean like a DeLorean, like the vehicle that they use to travel through time, but DeLorean. Yeah. Good night, Dave. You should definitely get some sleep. Thanks for coming by. I'll be around if you have questions or want to comment on a thing tomorrow. Documented polymath out of DeLorean. Thank you. Yeah. So, I'm curious about like the word mathematics now. Like the root of mathematics and the specific actual definition of mathematics as opposed to the way that we use it, like the common usage of mathematics. I do think it's interesting. So anyone here who is not from the US, Canada, or the UK, do you know it as math or maths in English? Did you learn it as math or maths? I'm curious about that because it's interesting because math, short for mathematics, just plain chops off the first syllable. But maths, because it has the S at the end, because the word mathematics has the S at the end, I guess is what the British came up with, which I assume must have come first because it was their language first. But I'm not sure. Interesting. And of course, obviously, in other languages, it's going to have other words that may or may not share roots with it. But I'm curious when you learned English, when you learned that word in English, regardless of what language your native language is. Okay, yeah, I figured Australia probably did maths. Canada is a delightfully confusing mishmash of Americanisms and the like non-American spelling and pronunciation and shortening, and it's been very confusing for me. So it's math here, as far as I can tell. Oh, interesting, Zulily. That seems like it would be. That's close enough. It's got to be related. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Mathematics comes from ancient Greek. That which is learnt, what one gets to know, studying and science. That's fun. That's fun. Okay. Anyway, I got distracted. It is now time for me to resume the video game. Okay, so I was thinking something otherworldly might be involved, something supernatural. Or white male in his 40s, what more do you need? Or personally, I think labor disputes are very mysterious. Or okay, so the case probably isn't mysterious, but could it be sexy? You could really, I feel like that would be, like, you could really lean into this, like, hey, kind of guy. And I think based on his design and the smile, that's kind of what actually seems like might be more in character if they have a predetermined personality for him. But yeah. I want an explanation of the supernatural side of things. And Kim already thinks poorly of me. So if supernatural stuff means that, like, if saying that makes you crazy, how do you know something's wrong with me? We're gonna not go with 4. I think I'm gonna go with 1, even if it's kind of silly. Partly just because I want information. There's back. Oh, how interesting. Okay, that got better. Sorry, there's something wrong with the cable of my microphone, but we're good now. So we're gonna go with 1, if only because this will at least tell me what the perception of supernatural is. Supernatural is in this world to some degree. All right, let's try this.
I can assure nothing like that will happen. Do you know why not?
So either are you sure I think something is already happening, why not, or because it's impossible, I know that. Still, with why not, and he'll be like, because I don't believe in that stuff, probably. Let's do why not, just straight up, let's see.
Because it's not part of reality.
He makes a precise hand gesture.
So desperately mundane. You need to funk this case up.
No, you don't. No, you don't, sir.
There's something the lieutenant isn't seeing. The universe is too irrational, too morally complex. You should convince him.
Inland Empire, I don't think listening to you is a very good idea. All right. I mean, I'm sure that at some point it will be useful, or maybe mine is just plain too high level to ever be useful now. It's a troublemaker. Okay, so I'm gonna say, actually, I have all I need for now.
Good.
Oh my god, I can try to convince Kim there's a sexy dark mystery twist in the case. That is amazing. No, Inland Empire, no. So I'm gonna ask him about himself because I'm really curious about this. So I'm gonna say, I want to talk about you. We'll see if he allows it. He might not. So that's 4. Why is the chance so high? Is that high? That doesn't feel like a very high chance. I have a lot of points in Inland Empire. Why is it 6? I thought it was 5. I thought I did 4 and 5. Did I do 5 and 6? I'll have to tie on. Oh no. Oh no. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I hope I didn't kill the guy. I've been here for 3 days. The guy had been dead for 4 days before that, so probably not. I actually have not quite figured out everything about the white check, but again, don't tell me. I don't think I want to convince Kim that there's a sexy dark mystery twist in the case. Like, would it be entertaining and zany? Yes. It would be extremely entertaining and zany and wild. But if there is anything that I can tell you about me, Lauren the Flute, as a person and as a player, I am nothing if not painfully serious all the time and lacking a sense of humor. So, I don't think I could play that very well. Let's see. So I'm gonna ask him this right here.
Me?
Yes, you.
I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation.
Oh, God. Okay, so you can say, we'll work better together if we have more rapport. Or, come on, Lieutenant, open up a little. Or, you're right, what's there to know about a lame binoclard? Which I assume is like calling someone four eyes. Because of binoculars. And he's got glasses. But I'm going to go with, we'll work better together if we have more rapport. I'm sorry, I'm playing my guy painfully serious, and I'm going to make the most unfunny Disco Elysium thing ever. But I'm already doing the slowest Disco Elysium thing ever, so it works.
That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know?
I can either say, you're wearing glasses, you don't look like other people around here, tell me a secret about yourself, do you ever talk with yourself, or that's all for now. Yeah, I'm just really not a clown shoes kind of player. So I'm gonna be, well, the thing is though, I get the feeling that the setup of this is that you're the clown shoes character and Kim is the straight man. So having two straight man versions seems like it's maybe less fun, and I apologize in advance. But I don't play like that. I don't play games like that. If you give me an option, I'm really not clown shoes. Let's see. So I'm going to say you're wearing glasses.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
What even does that mean? Just observing. Or I can say, no, I don't. Glasses are cool, I guess. I don't want to put him down. I'm going to try to be nice. I hope this is actually nice. I mean, it's okay. It's probably going to mess up. That's fine.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
Oh.
You could use a good, normal pair yourself.
Ha. I failed at some sort of perception about his glasses. So I have played tabletop games and overanalyzed things in me. Person or player in me says, oh gosh, I failed a perception roll about his glasses. That probably means there's something not normal about his glasses. I wonder if that means either they're exceptionally thick or there's some other thing that I don't know about. So I can overanalyze and overthink everything to do with Kim and his eyes. Or I can forget about it because my memory is garbage. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be great. Oh, failed perception roll, you need glasses. Okay, or it could be that. It could be that. Or I could just overanalyze everything, folks. Let me overanalyze everything and miss jokes. That I don't think there is a more like quintessentially Lauren example of something there than them trying to set up something funny and me taking it absolutely seriously. That's what we got. That's what we got here. I am literally incapable of underthinking a thing. It is a problem. I have too many points in overthinking things. Like my inland empire may not be like hallucinating that my clothing is talking to me. But when it comes to trying to overanalyze every little thing, like Inland Empire and Empathy had a baby that's overactive and I have like 8 points in it. It's a problem. Conceptualization joke. Easy. Failure. Perfect. Yes, that is what just happened. It's going to continue to happen. That's all right. I tell people I have no sense of humor and I don't understand comedy. It's close enough to the truth. All right, so I can say you don't look at like other people around here, which feels awfully insensitive, but my fellow might be insensitive. And maybe then I can get a sense of like what the racial dynamics are, if that's what he means by that, which is what I, from the real world, am inclined to say might be the case. But I also haven't seen that many people around here, so I don't actually know if he's the only one. I don't know. Tell me a secret about yourself. He's probably not going to do that at this point. I'm going to ask, do you ever talk with yourself? Let's do that.
What do you mean?
You know, when you're thinking, do you ever have conversations with, like, your brain? No, it's just you, Ocelot. It's just you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It'd be quite an interesting twist if actually everyone does, but nobody else talks about it.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
Don't be mean to him.
The lieutenant is a police officer of the old school. His concerns are material and extrinsic.
Okay.
But this isn't an old school case.
We don't know that it's not an old school case. So we either have, I get it, you're one of those old school detectives. Or, so how do you know? Or, so you're saying your brain never just chimes in with advice or warning or anything? Not being able to verbalize an internal train of thought. Oh, I don't know. I excessively verbalize my internal trains of thought. Sometimes I don't know quite what I'm thinking until I've said it out loud. So that's part of why I talk to myself as much as I do, because eventually I'll figure out what I want to say. Yeah, you know, everything is words to me. There's a narration in my head. Sometimes there's a narration. This is why I took to streaming the way I do, is because even when I was just sitting playing a video game with my cats and no audience, I would be like talking through what I was doing and talking about the people and responding to things. So I just kind of do this. Now I have you folks to keep me from looking like Revolver Ocelot talking to myself. I wouldn't say that other voices have their own pseudo personalities, but I definitely have aspects of myself. Oh man. Yeah. Brains are so interesting. It's fascinating that there's different brains. I can't imagine. I have a really hard time with visualizing things unless I can piece them together. Like I can't like draw a picture unless I can imagine how I would put the pieces together. So like I don't think of the way a thing looks necessarily, but I definitely think about words all the time. Words. But I am able to visualize an apple and spin it in my mind. So, yeah. Brains are fascinating, and much like programming, there's a magic to them that we don't really understand, which is part of what's so interesting about medication that affects the brain. Is it's like, well, it kind of does something there. We don't know why. It also does this other thing over there. We also don't know why. Interesting stuff. So all of these are not options Lauren would give, which is totally fine. Because then I have to decide in some other way. I don't just grab one with my gut. I'm going to choose answer 3 because I got no reason to choose any of the others. So you're saying your brain never just chimes in with advice or warnings or anything?
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just use my notebook.
He writes it out. I see.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages.
I bet he keeps a journal. If he doesn't, he should.
That's where his conversations with himself take place.
To some degree, that's true, yes. But they're also more controlled then because they're not inside his head. I do that too, writing through things.
We all have our different mediums. His is written.
We're feeling like we're understanding each other here. I'm going to say that's all for now. We'll talk more later. I assume I'll have the option. Well, maybe I won't have the option to talk to him. Let's see what happens if I say, tell me a secret about yourself.
No.
He just says no. I can say ask again, or I can go, oh, okay. I'll say okay.
The lieutenant nods.
No.
Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to. It has a delay there. Okay.
The lieutenant nods.
Okay. So I'm going to say that's all for now.
Good. Let's change the subject.
Okay. I'm going to say, I think you should know that I can't remember anything.
No response. He just arches his brow. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
I feel like I must repeat this. I don't remember anything. There was heavy drinking involved. Or I can say, okay, forget it, but I'm not going to pick that. I really want him to know.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
Oh, he's annoyed.
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
That is literally exactly what I thought. Okay, empathy, you and I, we're on the same page here, for better or for worse. One of the nice things about voice acting, too, is that you can hear that. So what's wrong with personal affairs? So what should I concentrate on? But I'm completely lacking in basic information about even this organization we're in. Can you help me? I feel like that actually is a good point. And then I'm afraid this is a medical situation, and that's a move on. So I'm gonna actually say like I'm lacking basic information and I need your help.
Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Okay, good. I appreciate that. I'm sorry. I feel like I should be playing Clown Shoes, and I'm not, and I'm really sorry, and I hope it's not boring. I mean, I'm probably going to eventually have to take Clown Shoes options because sometimes you don't have any choice but Clown Shoes, but I'm trying to hold it together. All right, I'm going to say, I'm afraid this is a medical situation, and then move on.
Really? You look fine to me.
He gives you a look thorough as if performing triage. I'm going to say, I'm talking serious, unbelievable damage here. I saw myself in the mirror and had no idea who I was. You know what? My revolver Ocelot is an oversharer. That's what we got here.
This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
It's not psychological. Some sort of major brain damage has occurred on an unprecedented scale.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted?
Okay, well, that's good to know. I don't know what my station's Lazareth is. That's an interesting word. I guess we'll find out. Right, his kinema is that's the name of vehicles. Okay, I'm going to say you seem to be following me because I feel like I should be following him. So that's interesting. All right. All right, you seem to be following me.
Excuse me?
I'm going to say nothing, just an observation.
You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
Yeah, so the other two options, sorry, I skipped over them. The other two options were basically like, what if I wanted to work alone? Or like, something else. That's basically like trying to assert you should go away. But this one is taking the literal you are walking behind me instead of in front of me, which is how I took it. So I'm very delighted that that's an option. So I have a distinctive way of walking. So I can say, what do you mean distinctive? I want to know. I like that he's looking for the right words. He's trying to not be offensive. All right, let's see. What do you mean distinctive?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically.
Oh my god, I'm from the precinct of nutcases. Amazing. The Jamrock Shuffle. I love that, like, the Jamrock cops just kind of, like, they got their, like, way of just, like, grooving down the street. Grooving down the street, yeah. Like, that's just really funny that's a thing that they have in common, because I would have assumed that the way he walks is because of who he is. So now I'm wondering if actually what I said about their outfits was wrong, because we haven't met any other cops. For all I know, all of Precinct 57 wears disco-ass jackets, and all of the 41st Precinct tends to wear bomber jackets. And actually, it could be that this is a situation like the Warriors, where we're kind of like rival gangs, and we're the disco-ass cops, and they're the very serious motorcycle guys, or something like that. And then they have snap fights in the street. Yes, exactly. Amazing. Amazing. Incredible. I'm delighted. I don't think that's actually what they're doing, but for this moment, for just this moment, we can imagine it. And it's pretty funny, isn't it? Oh, man. A bummer jacket. That's funny. I mean, maybe they are the wet blanket precinct. No, that's possible. And we're like the wild card, cool guy precinct. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious to find out if there is any actual similarity between that and the actual game. We'll find out. But otherwise, this is what we got. That's what we got. All right. So I'm going to say, how's that?
They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Containers? Oh, because they drink. I'm going to say, you're kidding me. Why containers? So he doesn't take my drinking seriously my drinking problem seriously. My drinking seriously problem. Thanks, Lauren. I don't drink. He doesn't take it seriously because we're all alcoholics. Clearly, we're the party cops, and we go looking for booze. At least I assume containers are like bottles and stuff. So I'm going to say, you're kidding me. Why containers?
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. We should move on.
Oh, it's another joke that I'm taking seriously. They're going to make meta jokes, and I'm going to miss like every single one of them because as far as I'm concerned, I'm playing a character in a game world, and I'm doing this. So I won't even think about that. Even though maybe normally I would. And I'm pretty sure I've encountered jokes about things like that before and gotten them. But this game, I'm apparently failing at that. So... sorry, the erratic wandering around. So I'm in the protagonists precinct, where cool RPG protagonists are.
Passing along frivolous interdepartmental stereotypes is not usually his oeuvre. He regrets bringing it up.
Oh, that's kind of cute. All right, I'm not going to convince him there's a sexy dark mystery twist in this case. It's not going to work. I think. The thing is that it'd be funny if there actually is a sexy dark mystery twist in this case. And so I can try to convince him now, and then like later there'll actually be evidence, and then I actually can convince him of it. That would be funny. I might like that. I mean, I'm going to fail this. He's not going to be convinced. He'll go along with it to humor me, I'm pretty sure. It is very tempting. It's very out of character. Well, whatever.
Only banal things strike you. At the core, you're a very banal person with a very small soul.
I can't. I have no inspiration. I'm like, it could be cool. I can't think of how it could be cool. But I rolled pretty badly and got a 1. So, alas. Sorry, folks.
One you should be ashamed of. It's no wonder the soft one doesn't want it back. It was right to abandon you.
The soft one doesn't want your soul back. I assume that's the ex-wife until given other information. I'm so sorry, friend. Well, at least we know that that's a thing that can happen now. All right, I think I'm good. Autosave. I love it when it autosaves while I'm talking. Let's go down and actually do this. Okay, folks. If you had a bet going, by the way, as to whether I would... Oh, wait, hold on. I've got a book. Okay, the pissing competition. Apparently there was a pissing match between Precinct 41, yours, and Precinct 57, Kim's. Ask Kim about this after the initial inspection of the dead body is done. End of day debrief with Kim. Kim can answer any lingering questions you may have about the case and the RCM. Join him on the Whirling-in-Rags balcony after 10 o'clock when you're calling it a day. Presuming that I'm able to actually pay to stay here and I don't have to be a bum or go home, but I have no home to go to that I know of. Okay, call your station's Lazarus. I wonder if I got kicked out. It felt like it was a long time ago, maybe. Like, it seems like the ex-wife thing was a long time ago, but maybe I did get kicked out and have had nowhere else to go, and that would have triggered the drinking binge and be why this is such fresh and recent pain. I mean, that would make sense, honestly. I can say with firsthand experience that regardless of the circumstances behind it, a divorce, a breakup on that level is absolutely devastating and will temporarily destroy some part of you. So you got kicked out by your ex-wife if that wasn't long ago. I got the impression that that was a thing that had happened a long time ago, but it might not have. And that would certainly explain the timing and the self-destruction at the point that it is. But we'll see. Okay, so call your station's Lazarus. Kim suggested you call the station Lazarus in order to sort out your health issues. You can use his motor carriage to make the call, although you don't feel hopeful. Yeah, see, this looks like the kind of the texture of like looking through like a roll of film. So done. Okay, we're gonna go downstairs. All right, so we're gonna go actually outside. Shall we go actually outside? Because I can't go through there, right? Talk to that man. I could hit that door, but I can't get there. See, I can't get there. It's like, no. If you could do thing, but you can't. All right, so we've got this fella right here. Oh, wait, hold on. What is this?
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
An hour, 2 hours, pretty long. It's drink o'clock or not now. This is my alcoholism showing up, and I'm going to try to fight it.
Oh, excuse me. Do you have something better to do than lust for sweet syrupy rum and lemonade? With a twist of lemon? Maybe lime. Maybe who cares? Just rum.
I could lick it before I go. Nope. I'm going to finish the thought. I'm going to wind up having problems because I'm going to fight my alcoholism.
The worker is in a deep slumber. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. Into the primordial darkness.
Oh dear.
On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
Lieutenant, who is this? Is a question. I'm going to ask that.
No idea. Looks like he works for Wild Pines, the logistics company who owns and operates the harbor.
That's actually relevant. So, but why is he sleeping during the day?
Possibly because there's a strike going on in the harbor. There's not much to do aside from drinking and sleeping.
I mean, picking up the pills would probably help me in some way. Maybe I would get more than 1 HP or something, but we're not going to do that. All right, so we talked to her. I think we've done everything else. All right, we're going to go out the door. It's only taken me a lot of hours of playing the game. Checks of secret difficulty. Oh, look at this. There's all these things to look at. Oh, right, the music. What is this? A heap of snow melts in this wheelbarrow, so you know it's not being used. These are signs. The street sign reads, "Fuck the police." So we're very popular here. I do kind of wonder, actually. We'll find out. Pigs go home. The street name is illegible. Okay, so there is actually a lot of dislike of the cops. Interesting. Let's talk to this person.
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with?
She looks up at you. She's surprised. Okay, so that is not actually her hair. She has a kerchief of some sort tied around her head. I thought that seemed like an awfully unnatural shade of yellow, and the texture didn't quite work. I'm gonna say you sound surprised. I can also ask her some questions.
We don't see a lot of police around here. That's all.
I'll ask her questions after I've looked at the body, I think. We'll see if that can happen. I'm just looking at things. Goods from the lorry haphazardly litter the surroundings. Truck. It's a truck. I'm sorry, I'm American. Closed for winter. Please use main entrance. I mean, the colors everywhere are really beautifully done. Once again, if you look here outside, there's that extraordinarily elaborate and detailed mosaic work. Like, that is not a thing you do for a practical purpose. Like, there is no practical reason to make a mosaic, especially not one as complicated as that. There was a period of time in the history of this city that people had the time and the passion and or the money to do beauty for beauty's sake, not just inside their buildings, but outside as well, which is really rather remarkable. Of course, it's fallen into disrepair since, but that does tell you something about it. Like, to me, that seems like that's a fall in idealism to some degree. We'll see. Let's talk to this person.
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
The man mutters to himself, accenting the beats as he goes. Tommy the man. All right. He's got what look like interesting tattoos on his body. Those look like they're tattoos here. Almost like gears? I'm not sure, because you've got the green and then you've got red splotches. I'm very curious about what that is. Let's see. Wouldn't you normally put an apostrophe? L apostrophe HOMME? This game is going to make me expose how bad I am at pronouncing French, isn't it? Sorry. I'm really bad at pronouncing French. I'm not the worst, but I'm not good. So I will be translating things, perhaps, but hesitating to pronounce things out loud.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
Keep listening. Let's see what else he says.
From another planet. Hey there.
He's singing. Feel like okay, I'm a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler from another planet. All right. Well, I don't think we have aliens in this world, but we'll find out. I'm going to ask what's going on here.
It's the jam, my man.
He motions toward the sprawl of lorries with a sweeping gesture. What's the jam? Oh my god. Okay, so is this traffic jam? Are these trucks stopped here forever? Jammed here forever? And so therefore, like, that's kind of become a landmark? This is like a gathering of the people who have the trucks and they're just hanging out? We'll find out. What's the jam?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, all around clusterfuck.
Okay. I assume that people who are not on the side of labor don't use the term scabs. I don't know if they use any term at all, but...
Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
So I can say limbo, huh? So that's where I am. Certainly feels that way. Well, no, his name is Tommy the Man, specifically. That's why I said Tommy the Man when he showed up. Unless I'm mistaken and my French is failing me. So I'm gonna say, so how long have you been here?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
I don't know what mazout means. I'm gonna say extravagantly phrased, but I can roll with it. I love it.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
He's laughing.
Behind the laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
Yeah. I wonder if that means he can't go home.
So tell me, what do you need?
I'm gonna ask him what he's hauling. It seems like a better way to make conversation, and I am honestly curious. It'll tell me a bit more about the world.
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
This is a man who is not afraid of the cops, that he can joke like that.
Time to arrest him.
Shut up, authority.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Thank you. I could try to arrest him, or I could say, wicked. I've always wanted a friend in the underworld. Or I could say, okay, and what are you actually hauling? I hope that this comes across as a joke. He seems like fun. I'm going to play along with him. I'm going to say, wicked. I've always wanted a friend in the underworld.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing.
He doesn't want to take his chances, even if I could be joking. You don't want to take your chances. Okay. Tracksuits, sporting goods. Got it.
They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Ilmaran market lately.
Let's say that's your machine behind you.
This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
I don't know, man.
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
I'm gonna make friends with this guy by talking about his truck, potentially. Thank you, Encyclopedia. I was hoping this would happen. Okay. I'm gonna ask him about whether this is what he's got. We'll see. He seems like the sort of guy that if I get it wrong, he'll laugh but not be mad. So we're gonna do this. Okay.
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together.
Okay, yeah, so I asked, that's a fallen A6 you got there. So he gives the side of the lorry a friendly knock. So this is his friend.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry.
I don't think I need one of his tracksuits right now. Although I wouldn't mind getting out of this necktie. But right now I want to get... So I'm going to say, right, I had another question. Or I could say so nothing illegal then. Maybe we'll be joking. I don't know. This seems like this might damage my rapport with him, but... Let's see... Let's see what happens.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Yeah, okay. He's got a sense of humor about it. Okay, so right, I had another
The man
question.
taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Empathy, what do you see in his eyes?
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. Flecks of brown and gold.
Familiar how?
It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon.
What's in the southwest?
Excuse me?
I'm going to say, hell, I get longing. I felt something similar since I woke up.
Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home.
I'm gonna ask him, Diora? Diora.
Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much. On another island called Laurentide, off mainland. We've got a little place there. I can almost hear my kid laugh when it snows.
Yes, that's my island. Well done. This is very poetic.
What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios in great detail of living with them. It comforts me.
So the question I asked is, what's it like to miss someone? So it's very interesting because this seems, my guess is that this game is going to have something to say about labor. It's going to have something to say about people and systems that crush them, I'm guessing. And so it's interesting that one of the first people that you meet is a long haul trucker, because for all that we might not call them lorries in the US, and for all that, you know, there's a lot of terms in this game that we don't use at all in our world, and a lot of things that aren't familiar. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, long haul truckers are responsible for keeping a lot of the US functional. Like, that's how our food travels, that's how our goods travel, that's how everything moves that people need to live. And it's dependent on these people driving these gigantic, terrifyingly gigantic machines. And the reason why I bring that up in the context of labor is I don't know how much you know about that. Those of you in the US, I think, might have a higher likelihood of knowing about this. I can't speak to what this is like in other countries, but in the US specifically, it's an extraordinarily abusive industry. Supposedly, they have systems in place that are supposed to keep you from speeding so much or skipping sleep, to predict when you should be arriving at your next destination. But the systems are mostly used to punish and control people. And so you have people who have to skip sleep to try to either get home sooner or get bonus pay for getting there earlier, which is extremely dangerous, both for their personal health and for the safety of literally everyone on the road. Yeah, they sleep in their trucks. They get paid hardly anything. Anytime anyone involved with transportation tries to mobilize for better treatment, the train operators. Anyway, it doesn't work. Yeah, it's really, really, really horrible. We need them to function as a country, and yet we treat them as terribly as possible. Yeah, you can own your own truck and be responsible for its upkeep. And like, it's really, really, really terrible. And so you have these people who are away from their families for extended periods of time. It's a really rough life, getting paid next to nothing, and yet they have a very important job. Like, their job is far more important than that of people who work in offices pushing numbers around at a desk. Like, no offense, as somebody who has spent most of her career working in an office at a computer, typing words on a page. Like, frankly, I should not be making more money than somebody who is the foundation of things. And I don't know exactly what people get paid to do those jobs, but it's not enough, whatever it is. And yet I think our society kind of has things backwards as far as the importance of people. There's no respect paid to people like that either. Even though, like, what would happen if the people who work kind of on the bottom tier of coolness or importance, what if they weren't there, you know? So it's bad. So I don't know how this is, I don't know how this is in other countries, and I can't speak to how it is in other countries. I can only speak to how it is in the US because that's all the reading and listening that I've done. But I assume that, I mean, this is very fitting, like I said, to have this be one of the first people you speak to. And he's upset about this labor strike because it's getting in the way of his life and getting in the way of his ability to see his family. But at the same time, you know, his career is relevant. His situation is relevant. Yeah.
What about you, Copman? You missing someone?
Whew. I think that Ocelot's probably going to recoil from this. Yeah, I guess maybe it's not the pay, just the pay, but yeah, the working conditions for anyone involved with transportation are just abysmal, because the people who make the decision are like, well, if you worked more hours and slept less, we'd make more money. Completely disregarding the fact that these are human beings, not numbers on a page. You know. Yeah.
Is that what it is? This feeling?
So I can say either I'm fine, man, I don't miss anyone, so I can be defensive. I miss someone, but I don't know who it is, or no, I feel hunted. I'm going to say I miss someone, but I don't know who it is.
I feel for you, my friend. It's bad enough to know who you miss. Missing like that doesn't feel like it has much of an upside.
Yeah.
But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through your own troubles.
All right. Okay, Disco Elysium. I'm in. I'm in. All right. I'm gonna have to actually ask him questions here. But I gotta do the human thing first. From a practical standpoint, people are largely more likely to cooperate with you if you actually have a rapport with them. But also, it's what to do. I appreciate that it gives you experience for that. That's cool. Oh, thank you, Cicada. Well, welcome. Welcome. I appreciate it. I have resolved that I'm not going to apologize for taking longer than anybody has any right to take in this game, and we're just gonna crawl along half inch at a time. But it's fun. There's a lot to dig into. Okay. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Again, I think I can trust them enough to allow myself to become attached to Kim. I'm not gonna bum money off the down on his luck lorry driver. No. I'll sleep. If I needed to, I could probably be like, man, can I sleep in the back of your truck? That might happen if we're friends. You know, I'm not gonna bum money off of him. He doesn't have any to spare. Plus, I'm not a working stiff. I'm a cop. Although he's not from this particular region. This particular region is really down on cops. We don't know if the place that he's from is. So I'm going to ask him about the strike. Tell me more about this strike.
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
What's the union demanding?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess.
I appreciate that. It's that good on them. Like, he's really sad. And he's sad because of this. And he's like, wow, that is a big ask. But he's also like, good on them. Like, I like that. There's solidarity, I believe is the term. A giant new power crane. And half the company. I mean, why not? Why not?
I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
All right, I'll have to track that person down. They are not to be trusted, though.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
Oh, Kim knows who she is, huh? Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to say, what do you think the company wants?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
So basically, despite there being unions, capitalism still reigns supreme. Okay, well that's good to know. It has been very interesting going from living in the U.S. to living in Canada, because in the U.S. unions have very little power. They're very few and far between. In Canada, there's a lot of actual union presence, which is really weird for me. Like, I just have a really hard time wrapping my head around it. But it's neat. It's good. I might have walked 10 kilometers following the Labor Day parade because I was so excited that there was a Labor Day parade. And the unions were all involved. It was great. They were singing and handing out water, and I was really, I don't know. It was very moving. So, yeah. Yeah, like there are some unions in the US, but by and large, as a whole, they don't have a lot of power. And so trying to explain to my Canadian friends that yes, your union is flawed, and yes, you disagree with some of what it does, and yes, there's downsides, but you don't understand what it's like to have literally nothing to enforce power in your own defense. Like, yeah. It's really something.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
He knows that they want money, but he doesn't agree with them.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
Okay, because I had asked anything else I should know. Sorry, I realize I'm not always reading things out loud, and I should get back to that. But all right, so I'm going to ask all of who?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
He smiles awkwardly. Okay, so this is a dialogue. I wonder, there's so much writing in this game. They have to have flags to have acknowledged that he's already told me about his wife. But we'll see kind of how that goes. So my option here is not you.
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He glances down the road towards the horizon, a glint of something in his eyes. There's something in the screen. Lead. D-E-A-I-C-E. Device. No, it's flipped. That's the word device upside down. It's the same word that I saw on the title screen. This right here that the text is on, when you're on the title screen, it's like this. And then it's like this for your dialogue. That's interesting. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask him about the dead man. See if he knows anything about this. So I'm going to say, know anything about the dead man? The one hanging behind the hostel there? And I'm going to point at the yard.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
All right.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
I'm going to ask, I like this guy, so I'm going to say busy with what? He's standing around. He's going to be observing the world.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
I have a weakness for purple prose. You can keep your, like, everything's gotta be to the point and concise. Sometimes you can do that, but I like this. I'm gonna say, and your conclusion?
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees.
All right, I'm gonna say I'm good for now. Good talk.
Don't be a stranger.
We're friends. Check it out. I bet that he wouldn't have said that if we weren't friends. But we're friends now. so exciting. I have friends. Oh, that's the detective's car. Okay. Well, I've spent some time talking to people, but like, what did you think was going to happen? Oh, look, there's a thing over here. I'm going the wrong way. I think I'm supposed to go the other way. What is this? Some great tectonic force has cracked the pavement like an eggshell. Presumably bombings were involved, would be my guess. It's a bench. Can I sit on the bench?
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
Okay.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You
Can-
can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
Okay. Neat. That's how I pass the time. There's a bunch of people over here. Well, I suppose we should actually go look at this body. What is this?
This Postla Vantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front.
Your options are good mail delivery box or fuck you mail delivery box, or you can leave it. So am I going to pet the dog? Or am I going to be mean to the dog? I'm going to pet the dog. I'm going to pet the dog.
The box seems happy.
Excellent.
Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also.
I'm having a moment with this. Amazing. Okay. I don't know what the coon is. Let's see. I can say feel you. I feel you mail collection box. I could say been there. Or I could tell it that it needs to man up. I'm gonna say I feel you mail collection box.
The mail collection box seems cathartic. Thankfully even, so do you. You shudder, then you swallow.
Oh, wow. That was great. Okay. I'm so glad that petting the dog made me happy. There are bottles inside. You could pick them up if you had a bag. We're just gonna look around. Oh, no. I can't read French. My French is so bad. I don't want you guys to hear how bad my French is. This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. Oh, excellent. That sounds like a classy text. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. Okay, so Fabio. This is a book about pâté. This book, you don't really understand what it is about, nor does it seem important. That's not true. Anytime they tell you something's unimportant. It takes willpower to even read the author's name. Jan Kaus from Igaunia. Interesting. That's a thing that I had to make myself look at. A book about Boyadero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. Okay, again, grew up in the US, so when people talk about freedom, I tend to think about like freedom, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't know if that's what they're talking about. They might actually be talking about like actually like traveling, like a more like a vagrant exploring lifestyle. Who knows? A book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio technology. It would be funny. Wait, so what does this say? Hold on. Go there. Biographies of famous people. Hello. I should probably actually go do what I'm supposed to do. Yes, I'm not defending the definition. I'm just stating, okay. 2 roundabout north. to Cape Side Apartments in Martinez Pier. The ad reads, broken window. Tibbs has windows. Do I have to pay to get my window repaired? If you had a bag in your hand, perhaps you could collect these bottles and sell them. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to do to be able to stay here, huh? This poor man. I want to talk to him. Oh, what? This is a physical? You hear the distant squall of seabirds. I'm sorry, Kim. Okay, well, I'll be back to look at and talk to. Motorics. Okay, so that's your senses. That makes sense. This coin-operated viewer has been banged up. Inoperable. That'll happen. Oh, wait. What is that? I'm gonna look at that. Sorry. Ocelot's gonna autopilot his way down there. Look. Okay. I'll get where I'm supposed to go. A splatter of bullet holes lines the wall. But I wonder how... Oh, there's a bag that I could use to gather those, but I'm gonna wait and do that later. Let's see. What does that sound? All right. Sorry, we're gonna walk very slowly around. I'm trying to remember. Here we go. Hello, Gundy Butt's cat. Sophie's in the other room. She's been upset because I've been somewhat less available. Oh, this looks like what I drove. Okay, hold on. Oh, what is this? That looks like an intercom. Shall we do this? I'm pretty sure this is it. Let's see. I want to click on everything, but I'm going to actually progress the story. I think this is right. This can't be the right place. Oh, no, this is the right place. There's a child. Why is there a child here? Child, are you throwing rocks at the dead body? The letter R wears a crown. On the ribbon below, a light above descending. This is the logo of the municipality of Revachol. Okay, so the crown that we've seen is a Revachol thing. This kid is calling to this kid who is throwing rocks, I think, at the dead body. Children. All right. Yeah. Okay, everybody. We're going to do this. We're going to talk to this child first. Because I feel like you have to talk to the child or you're going to probably get hit by rocks yourself.
Cuno's got this.
The boy throwing rocks at the dead body can't be older than 12. And he's talking about himself in third person.
If there ever was such a thing as an ugly kid, then this is it. He's almost exquisite in his ugliness, like a gremlin.
Conceptualization that's not very kind.
Oh yeah, Nappa Gumpy, Cuno.
Napakumpi. That is not a language I know. Or I'm familiar with. I'm gonna say, moment of your time, please.
Can't talk, pig. Shit's coming up strong. Throwing rocks.
Huh.
Shit coming up strong. That sounds good. Joyous. You should hang out with this kid and see what that juicy shit is all about.
Does that mean he's on something? I don't really know. I'm gonna say never mind.
Yeah, Cuno, ride the lightning, Cuno.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like that might be the case that they're talking about.
Cuno's riding at sea.
He wipes sweat from his brow and sends another rock flying. Okay.
The rake, Cuno. You should throw the rake at him, Cuno.
No, you should not.
The fuck does Cuno know what a rake is? Cuno's not a gardener.
Why is he talking about himself in third person? Is that the drugs? It might be the drugs. I'm gonna say, look, I have questions for you.
All right. entertain the Cuno? Show me what you got. What you got there? What you got, huh? Show me what you got.
Wow, his voice is really, really good. You can hear it like cracking sometimes. Like he's definitely not in the right state. All right, so I'm gonna say the body. What do you know about it?
Shitload pig. What's your question?
Don't tell the pig shit, Cuno. Pig's choking. He's totally choking.
Okay, or maybe I should have looked at the body first. Kim, help me out here. What
If
do we
I
want?
were to want to waste my time, which I do not, I would ask them who he is, how he got there, and the usual.
I'm sorry, Kim.
The usual being. Have you seen anything out of the ordinary? Or have you seen anything suspicious?
Do you know who he was?
Cuno's fuck imp. Cuno uses the fuck imp for target practice.
All right.
He's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know.
So I'm gonna say, so you don't know anything.
Cuno knows all kinds of shit. Cuno's not a snitch, that's all. Trying to make the Cuno sing into the popo phone.
Popo phone. Okay, that's really funny. That's really funny. Oh man. Okay. All right. So he's not gonna tell me anything. So
You're testing Cuno's patience here.
Get lost.
yeah. Well, I'm honestly really glad that despite this, I'm gonna actually say, for all that there's like a verisimilitude of having swears in your gritty setting, I'm glad, again, not grimdark, that the developers have decided that there are some words that they don't want to include. They may be part of their setting, but they don't need to show you that to get it across. So, yeah. I gotta ask, who is Cuno?
Cuno's Cuno, pig?
So you refer to yourself in the third person? He's gonna be like, there's only one person here, and that's me.
The fuck are you calling a third person? Cuno's the fucking first person?
Uh-huh.
He looks slightly confused, but proud he came up with that retort. But right as he's getting distracted, you hear a malevolent hiss from behind the fence.
I'm about to get murdered by a child, aren't I?
Watch out, Cuno. He's trying to fiddle you. He's gonna put his hands on you.
The thing behind the fence starts squealing, shrill and violent like a fire alarm.
Help! Pig's got Cuno. Help! Rape!
Okay, the child is shouting at the windows.
Help! He's got the Cuno, help!
I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah? Get out of here before the Cuno beats the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's right. Drag your fat ass out of here, fat boy, before Cuno fucks you.
Wow, these children have
Don't listen.
problems.
Just go.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point in dealing with that. Smells like spoiled meat and curdled dairy. A human being decomposes. All right. The kid's ladder is rickety but still climbable. Hold on. There's a thought. This ladder's for kids. It wouldn't hold the weight of a grown man. Okay. Someone is trying to grow herbs in this greenhouse. Like herbs or herbs. All right. So I don't know how vivid this is going to be, but if this is something that you're not comfortable with, content warning, there is a dead body on screen. And I'm not sure what they're going to do. It looks like it is mostly naked. So we're going to do this. I'm going to click on this. But if you have to step out, you can step out now. And if there's a time that is past, you are welcome to like hang out on Discord or mute the stream or something like that, and folks can say like it's time to come back in. Like if you want to pop into stream chat on the Discord, and just say like I'm waiting until it's like there's no longer a dead body or whatever the thing is that you're not comfortable with, then if a mod could kind of keep an eye on there and then just let people know when we're done with the content that is concerning. But I'm going to go ahead and see. This will tell me a little bit about where this game is going to go and the level of comfort it's going to take. So let's see this, shall we? I feel like everyone who needs the warning hopefully has taken that warning and stepped aside. And here we go.
The corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen and ready to burst. His lips are fish-like and his tongue like a ball gag in his mouth. You seem to be holding your breath.
Look down.
A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in even through your clenched nostrils.
I am not going to be able to succeed. I do not have points in anything to do with bodily strength, so that's not going to happen. But we could just throw up, which feels in character, and maybe we'll feel better, or we'll die from taking physical damage from throwing up. Let's give it a go.
The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expected, more fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to walk away and see if it works. Nope, he does not succeed. Hopefully this doesn't take away my 1 health point. Hopefully I didn't just vomit myself to death. The sound effect, the sound design is
Too late. It's
really
impossible
excellent.
to keep in. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
I'm going to say God. I'm not going to apologize for this one. I think there's nothing to apologize for having a strong reaction to a dead body. I think that's only human. And I think when you lose your humanity on something like that, unless it's something you have to do, like I have a friend who worked as a nurse in like end of life care, and she had to dissociate in order to get through her day of helping people be comfortable. And short of a situation like that, I don't think this is the sort of thing that you should become unbothered by, and certainly not these circumstances.
It's okay. Happens to everyone. Keep it.
He's going to give me, he gives me his white handkerchief. So I'm going to say thanks, and I'm going to wipe my mouth.
The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head.
I'm going to ask, you think ammonia would help? I don't know that that would work.
If you can handle the headache. Some officers use it to deal with cadaverine odor.
But not you.
I can't handle the headache.
Oh, okay. Where do we get ammonia from?
There is Flute nearby, east of the hostel. They usually have a small apothecary. If they don't...
He points to the greenhouse. Oh dear.
There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the Whirling-in-Rags. If she works here, she might have something for the smell.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
So I'm going to say, God, what is that? Why is it so bad?
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging.
Yeah, no. I do appreciate that Kim doesn't judge. I mean,
He's about to blow! Cop's gonna blow, Cuno!
okay. Yeah. The children will, but... Okay. I'm gonna have to get some ammonia in order to be able to stand this. So now I have the lieutenant's handkerchief. A handkerchief given to you by Lieutenant Kitsuragi. One corner is adorned with lace and a tiny embroidered portiere. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Then I have note. Inspect the victim's body. I'm going to get ammonia. It'll make it easier. Probably should have talked, if I'd talked to the gardener sooner, maybe that could have helped me be better friends. This winch mechanism has been oxidizing for some years. Things are kind of in a state of disrepair around here. let's see if I can... What else is around here? Oh, there's more things around here. We're going to look at this. Oh, well, we can't look at that. Okay, fine. Fine. See if I care. No, I'm not in the... I'm not... I have to be, like, on level with it. I think that's on the roof. So... The music doesn't play when you're in there, okay. So there's a gardener around somewhere. You've got a wheelbarrow, you've got gloves. Are you the gardener?
You're back.
I have some questions for you.
Of course. What can I help you with?
I'm gonna say, what is this fuck the police business?
Excuse me?
She doesn't understand.
She's uncomfortable. Maybe you should drop this line of questioning.
I don't want to make her uncomfortable.
She shifts in her seat awkwardly.
I'm gonna say, my partner told me you may have ammonia. Can I have some?
Sure. I'm done with it.
She takes a small capsule out of her breast pocket and hands it to you.
Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I can do this because I have 1 HP, so it might make it so that I die. I might die from a headache. I do. Well, and I can also just straight up save, so it works. So, okay, I'm gonna say, I think we need directions?
Of course. Where to?
Okay, what is up in the north?
There's the pier, the Cape Side apartment buildings, some more tenements. Not a lot, really.
You don't usually die from trying to take something off of a ceiling fan or having bright lights or whatever else can kill you with a ceiling fan. So I don't put it past my revolver Ocelot with 1 HP to die from things you don't usually die from. Okay, what's in the east?
The harbor gates. Some kind of commotion, I think. I don't follow the local politics. A fleet store too. Some shops and a bridge. The canal bridge leads to the coast, but it's broken, I think. Some kind of accident, probably.
What's on the other side of the canal?
Just coast. There's a little fishing village there, and a fish market. But that got closed down ages ago.
Things are not so great here.
It's just water. No, actually, I think they call it the Martinez Inlet. There are some islands in the bay, but they're hard to reach.
I was gonna say, where am I?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna say I'm disoriented. I don't know where I am.
Yes, sir. District of Martinez.
That is
This
not...
intersection is called Roundabout North.
She did not quite read this line exactly. And Martin is in the city of Revachol.
He knows where we are. He just wants directions.
He does not like that. Okay, that's good to know. That will make him sad if I ask people questions like that.
No problem.
Okay. So I said thanks, that's all for now, and I'm going to say I have to run.
Of course. I won't hold you back.
Her gloves. You get the feeling that you need them. You have a dead body to deal with after all.
I'm going to ask her if I can borrow her gloves. I don't know if she'll let me.
Sure. Keep them. I have another pair.
She hands you the rubber gloves with no visible annoyance. Thank you very much, ma'am. That's very nice of her. Okay. So I have gotten ammonia. So we're good. Oh, was that Inland Empire's idea? Man, I missed that. Okay, we're like halfway. We'll see how much I regret these. Having these be my thoughts that are in my head. Yeah, no, that makes sense then. Inland Empire made that. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and we're going to equip our gloves. Wait, where am I? Oh, close. Here we go. Thick latex gardening gloves in classic canary yellow. Maybe you should retire, take up gardening as a hobby. It's worth a thought. +1 interfacing. Bye-bye, bugs. Okay. I'm very cool now. That's neat. So Inland Empire in this case is making it so that you can think about, like, piece things together and think about, oh, that would be useful in that situation. What is this? That's not my throw up.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here.
Let's try visual calculus. Let's see what happens.
Maybe more than 12. No. 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud.
Wow. Let's go over them one by one.
1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46.
Folks, he's really good at this. Assuming that he's not just hallucinating it. Okay.
2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46.
Wait, which is it?
You don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as it is. The cold must have preserved them.
Oh, are those sizes? Oh, okay. Like, the number system does not mean anything to me. I did not realize that was size. Because it would be like, you know, size 8, size 10, size 10.5, 10 and a half. That's what I would expect. So, okay. I didn't know that.
5. Another standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44.
Okay.
6. An aberration. Light as air. Even pace. Same make of boot, but number 41.
Male or female?
Impossible to tell. Could also have been an adolescent. The gait is undeveloped.
I'm pretty good at this, ain't I? And I'm probably going to make it so I can't read the rest if I do this, but I got to check it out.
You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film of unimportance on it. And the tracks burn in the middle of it, in a strange, beautiful way.
Interesting.
7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. But the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms.
As though somebody is carrying a body or something.
8. And yet another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn.
Which I think would probably mean that you put more weight on that shoe? Or you put less weight on that shoe and it scrapes more of the ground, actually, maybe.
How many?
The lieutenant has been tracking your eyes' movements. That's so neat. So he is observant enough to be able to tell that I'm actually doing this. That's really cool. He's really, like, regardless of, like he can tell when you're, like, he can tell that you're not just being garbage. You could say 400 million, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to tell him 8.
I was pretty off then. I counted 20.
I'm going to say the same guys are going back and forth. Because I could say way off, way, but I'm not going to because I don't want to give him, I don't want him to feel bad.
I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary?
He points to his glasses. Is hyperopia, because I know myopia, what is hyperopia? Does that mean that he's nearsighted or farsighted? Wait, that's farsighted, isn't it? That would be like, because what it, Farsighted. Okay, yeah. Okay. So I can either point out the light step, the heavy one, the aberration. I want to point them all out, but I'm going to start with the heavy one, the 200 kilogram imprint. We're going to do this.
200? Could it be the combined weight of two people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man.
Yeah, that is kind of the impression that it gives.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
How many pounds is 200 kilograms? I have not updated. I've been working to get used to Celsius. And that's enough for me. So I have a hard time with the rest of these. Over 400. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I say one of them could be carrying him over.
Possibly, yes.
I'm glad he puts that down as a possibility. We're not sure, but possibly. Okay, so I'm going to point to the light step, the number 41 shoe.
A woman or a kid?
Having looked at it, my visual calculus said there's no way to be sure. So I'm going to report back. I don't think there's any way to be sure.
Understood. Anything else?
I'm going to point out the sole that is smoother than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the old soul.
Yay! Kim gives nicknames. I give nicknames. Excellent. This is going to be great. We are off to a great start as partners here, Kim. So do you have any ideas, Lieutenant?
Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He regrets it the moment he says it.
So I could either say a drummer that's stupid, so one of the people we are looking for is a drummer, or I could don't say anything, just nod. I don't think we can make an assumption that one of the people we're looking for is a drummer. And I think that he'd feel self-conscious if you jump onto that too much, but I'm definitely not going to insult it. So I'm going to don't say anything, just nod.
I don't know why I said that. We are not looking for a drummer. We are looking for a group of dock workers.
No, Kim, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It is interesting, though. That means Kim is thinking in terms of music, which I wonder if that means he's in a band or something like that, or just interested in music. Oh, Kim, it's okay.
The lieutenant clearly appreciates the chance to clear up the drummer issue himself.
Okay. Okay. Poor Kim.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
I want to make him feel good. Because if I say I was thinking the exact same thing, he might feel bad. I'm sorry. I'm going to overanalyze this. No, I'm going to not thoughtfully. I'm going to let him talk through things. I'm going to let him do his thing because he doesn't... His ability to process things is not internal. It is external. We know this because he writes things down in his notebook. Therefore, if I don't interrupt him and let him work through things, he'll be able to do his thing. So I'm going to do this. We'll see how this goes.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no?
Yeah, I'm going to go with him. Yes, prudent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The lieutenant writes the information down in his notebook, then reverts to the tracks in the mud. I'm satisfied with how this conversation has gone. How old do you think these tracks are?
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think Kim would have the sort of handwriting that is very, very legible, but not very pretty. I think he would have small, kind of blocky print. I don't think he would write in script, cursive. Yeah, see, if Kim were more consciously, actively self-conscious all the time, I would be more prone to try to give him reassurance. But it seems like actually he if you want to make him comfortable, you have to give him the chance, picking up on the facts that he likes to be able to resolve the thing himself. He kind of likes to kind of be in control of seeming unruffled and having like level-headed thoughts and suggestions. And if you step in, either to reassure him or to make fun of him, you take that away, and that doesn't work very well for him. But I do think that quietly, like, nodding along is actually probably going to be the best thing I can do while he's thinking through things. Because I think also, like, yeah, he clearly gets self-conscious sometimes. And I don't want that. I want him to be able to think through things freely without being self-conscious. So, yeah. Maybe he has some sort of shorthand. That would make sense.
It is not impossible.
So I will say, how do you know?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Okay. That's smart. That's very good, Kim.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
All right. Visual calculus approves of Kim so far.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree.
I picked what do you think happened here? Sorry, I didn't read my thing out loud.
Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Yeah. Okay.
Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
As far as we can imagine. It'll be interesting if it turns out that it is not that, and that we recontextualize everything about this. We'll see kind of how this plays out. We've been through all of it. All right, notebook. Now, I've autosaved. I have inspected the body. I'm gonna get headache. Map. The Hanged Man. Endurance. Legendary. Those in white are available to try now. Okay. Oh, right. That's the thing that I clicked on there. Okay, so we've got the body. Let us try this again. We're going to save the game. And then we're going to try this again and see how this goes. Because I don't know how to do this right, so.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white.
Okay, hold on. I need to use the, let's see how this goes. Tools, items. What is this? Ampoule of ammonia. A thin glass tube wrapped in cotton netting used to treat fainting spells. Produced by Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. Yes, the body is still here, so. I'm going to put this in my hand. Look, it's every time I click on this, it's like it's moving the film forward. Oh, it already counts as equipped. Okay, interact. Okay. All right, that was not clear to me. I don't want to die.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes.
All right.
The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
All right, I have a +1 because I have ammonia. Let's see how this goes.
The ammonia only makes it worse. The combination forces tears out of your ducts. You manage to keep it in once.
Huh.
The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
That was bad. I'm gonna say the ammonia didn't help at all.
Nor does the wind right now.
Oh. He's helpful. He's very wholesome.
The weight is reassuring, like a crenel on solid fortification. Pat, pat, pat.
He's patting my back, by the way, so I didn't read that out loud.
I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder.
So I can say, why can't I keep it in if I've been a cop my whole life? Or, this is bullshit, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to be a cop. Or, can't we do something else? I think I want to solve something else now. Or, do it without me, I just can't keep it down. I'm going to ask, why can't I keep it in if I've been a cop my whole life?
I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate. Throw up, initial autopsy. Throw up, baguette.
He pats your back again.
Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there if you didn't bag the thing tight enough.
I'm going to say, you seem to be fine.
I think I've lost my sense of smell.
There's a pause. Oh dear.
A white lie.
Oh, interesting.
Not being hungover helps too.
Oh, I think he's trying to make me feel better. I'm going to say, do it without me, I just can't keep it down.
No. This is a two-man assignment because it needs 2 officers to complete. I need your help.
He withdraws his hand and looks you in the eye.
You need to get your shit together.
All right. And say, okay. He's trying really hard, and I don't want to let him down.
We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
Okay.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and internalize it for special bonuses and effects.
What was
Give
I...
it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Okay, I'm going to leave. All right. So please no backseating. Do not backseat. Do not tell me what to do or anything about it. And I'm going to take a look at... Oh man, this music. Equip and complete volumetric shit compressor thought. That's what we're supposed to do here. What? Oh, getting your shit together. So you're compressing your shit. Amazing. No, I was just letting chat know not to backseat. The game tutorial is allowed to backseat a little. All right. Okay. Your shit is apart, and it's rather unbecoming of a cop and a human being. It's supposed to be the opposite of that. Together. Compressed in a small area. To achieve a solid level of shit compression, squeeze your butt cheeks together for 30 minutes. Do something similar with the 2 hemispheres of your brain. Talk to people. Maybe that will help. Sure, let's internalize that. That appears to be a baby falling with shit coming out of it. So, yeah, very, very cool. I don't know what the Lonesome Long Way Home image is, but I assume that the art will all be a bit disturbing. Okay, so I think I should probably save and shut down, and then we'll go talk to people for about half an hour while thinking about that. And there's a lot of people to talk to, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make that happen. Mandatory side quests. Yeah, they're well, it's an interesting way of making you get out and talk to people instead of, in case you're like trying to like just like straight shot your way through like the everything is on, like if you're the opposite of Lauren and you go straight on the path of where you're supposed to go, this is their way of saying, perhaps, my friends, you should stop and smell the flowers. I am a professional flower smeller, so I do not need the reminder, but I will be happy for an excuse to do so. Oh wow, blue glass. Okay, well no, I don't want to make Kim too sad. So we did okay. We made progress. We have finally left the building. Oh man. And yes, I have to not to think too hard about the dead body. That's just how it's going to be. So I hope you're all right with that. I hope that's not too uncomfortable. I will not be joking about it, but I may be disconnecting from it a bit. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining. If this is your first time watching me, I play this every Thursday night. I probably should say this during the stream. I forget. I tend to either get super into the game and distracted and forget kind of that I'm streaming, or I forget that maybe since this is a newer game to be streaming, there's going to be newer people. But yeah, feel free to come by every Thursday. There is a Thursday coming up that I won't be streaming. I'll let you know what it is in advance because I'm not playing. I wish I was playing a show. No, I'm going to a show in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. I'm going to go see Muse and Evanescence. Wow, that's 2 weeks away. But yeah, otherwise, I am playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on Tuesday. So if you enjoy games that are the opposite emotionally of this, that are very like fun and light, and goofy, although I sometimes talk about heavy topics apparently in it slightly, feel free to tune in then. Otherwise, I am going to be continuing to make things and do things. Feel free to join us on the Discord. I forgot to talk about the spoiler chat, but it was good. Okay, I did the Discord. Hold on. And then, so if you want to join the spoiler chat, you can do so by joining our Discord and asking for stream spoilers access. Apparently that's where the peanut gallery goes, where folks talk about my streams while I'm streaming and I don't get to see or have to see the spoilers. It's great. Otherwise, follow me on social media if you want to see what I'm up to, and get a reminder of when I'm streaming and things like that. So thank you so much. This has been a good time. Despite my rain leaking out my ears all week, I'm doing okay, and this was not too much for me so far. And I feel actually more comfortable about this game than I thought I was going to, because there has been such a presence of goodness and kindness right off the bat that I feel more safe and secure in it than I thought I might. So we're off to a good start. I'll probably talk more about that next week's stream. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all sometime next week, hopefully, if not sooner. Bye.